Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Slippy and Thrifty Show. I am Thrifty, and that is
Slippy. How are we all doing?
How are you doing?
I'm good, John. How are you?
I'm pretty fantastic.
Excellent.
Feel better than I have in several weeks. So
Great. Good stuff.
rip roaring and ready to go.
We've got a big crowd in here already, which is pretty cool. We've got 16 people in there with us.
Yeah, let's see who we got in here. So we got Twain Thing.
We got Pepper Dingo's in here, Tony's Ponies, Randy WSG. Hello, Randy. How you doing?
Hello,
Gaz
Mr. Moderator.
FM. Yes. Eric Starr. Twang Thang's in here. Marco. Frank Olivo's in here. Hello, Frank. Stan's in here. Stan's Collector's Universe. MB's turned up. Sean's here.
MB, got a load of people in here. MB? So I got a question for Eric Starr, if he's paying attention. I'm curious, like, is his logo, what is it meant to be? Because it looks like a tape measure to me, and I just have always don't really understand.
I actually have one of his stickers. I will show you later on when I pull it out what it is.
You don't know from memory what it is?
Not from the top of my head. No, I've got so many of the channels. It's hard to remember them all.
All right. I don't know. Look like a tape measure.
Oh, you were correct. Tape measure.
All right. Designed by my lovely wife. There we go. All right. It wasn't completely insane.
Byron Kennedy's here. Hello, Byron.
Hey, Byron.
Let me tell y'all about knife restoration.
So how is your channel going, Byron? How are you doing with it? You happy with it? Exploring new things with your channel? Need to go and spend an entire day just like watching everyone's knife channels. I'm so far behind on all that. I saw that Gus just recently put up a response to Super Sack Saturday.
Yeah, I watched that. He did the Sportsman.
Yeah, and just tried to catch that before you came in.
Yeah, I'm honestly so far behind. Gus was lucky. He caught me as soon as I woke up and it popped up. I was like, wow, I've watched that now.
Yeah. So Gus, a really good
Watch
dude.
City Knives is here as well. Hello.
Kathleen's in here. Hi, Kathleen.
Let me tell you about Kathleen.
What can you tell me about Kathleen? Anything?
She's a very generous commenter. So she literally watches everything I put out. So I appreciate that, Kathleen.
Yeah, she just commented on my recent stuff too. So.
What did she say? Junk review.
No, she said I like that knife. She said I like that knife. Very simple. It was the Joker, the Antonio.
Well. Yeah, I really like that. It's a shame it's a little bit too long for the UK, but the wood is fantastic.
Yeah, so he says, I'm still trying to learn this gig. Haven't posted content yet for viewing, but soon. Yeah. So, hey.
Come on, Byron. We're waiting.
It takes a little time.
If you want to have a laugh, Byron, go back and watch my first video. It
sucked. Man. Yeah, it'll give you a vote of confidence because you look at how bad we were when we first going. I mean, I know mine was like, hello, this is Thrifty Kaniffy.
Today I am boring. Look at 6 sow bellies for my first video.
Please look at my sow belly knife. I am
I have personality of door.
I'm a wooden shelf.
Yeah. Let me video you with a Band-Aid on my finger of Minions.
Hey, you remember that? It's because I kept cutting myself. Yeah, I was playing around with modern knives back in. I don't know. Do you get cut more by modern knives or more by traditionals? Would you say?
Do you know the knife that's cut me the most is actually this.
Really?
Yeah.
I get cut more by moderns.
Because the reason is this is the lob in my car knife that I use if I'm out and about.
Yeah.
For just to beat on. And the amount of times I've just either put it down the seat, gone to grab it, not looking, and just like grip the blade.
Well, that's intelligent.
Yeah. But apart from that, actually, one of the knives similar that gifted Randy, the twisted tulip, is actually the one I stabbed myself with and needed stitches.
Oh, yeah. The tulip. I think the tulip's gotten a couple of people in the community.
So where is my tulip? I got two. So there's one here.
Everybody know what the tulip looks like? It's just a mean little sucker. It's like ornery, like my dog, real small but very painful.
It is real dangerous. I mean, I've got two. I'll send one to you to have a look at, but they are wicked sharp and just scary dangerous.
That's like the perfect set next to the table. Open a box knife with.
Yeah, but it's like if I wear jeans, which is very, very rare, this goes in the fifth pocket.
It's got to be awful cold for Slippy to wear jeans.
Yeah, but it's got real nice action. I tuned the detent so it's a bit stiffer than it is normally out of the box, but you can like literally just flip it in and out. And these are the scales that Randy sent me, so thank you, Randy.
Oh, you put custom scales on it.
Yeah,
cool.
These are the JG10.
The Jades. All right.
But yeah, that's my most dangerous knife.
This is Elon says the tulip is Randy's kryptonite. So did he?
Yeah, so I sent Randy the tulip, and then I think on the first day he flipped it and stabbed himself.
Okay,
I wasn't wrong, right, Randy?
It must have been somebody else. Yeah. Look at.
Actually, now I've got this out, I'm going to start carrying it. I think let's add it to my carry.
And MB says that Dan's knives are splitting sharp.
Yeah,
Adam's splitting.
Yeah, the one I've been carrying a lot for Dan is the compact he made for me. This one is a Dan edge on there. I don't know if it's going to show up in the light. It probably won't. There we go.
Well, I mean, you want me to zoomy? There we go.
But it is. It's like scary sharp. You can see Dan's logo on there too, if it'll focus.
Have you heard from Dan recently?
I have. I spoke to him yesterday.
How's he doing?
He's doing well. He's got a lot of stuff coming out. He's doing some new stuff. He's excited about. He wouldn't tell me any more than that, so I'm guessing he's got some stuff to send over.
Always a secret. Speaking of secrets, you want to break the news on what we're going to do next week?
Sure. So next week we've decided to do a live unboxing of a knife under $80.
Not a knife. Knives up to $80.
Knives up to $80, but
fewer as many as you want, right?
Okay, so I can pick multiple if I want. Okay.
Right.
But we're not allowed to tell each other what knives we have, so it'll be a complete surprise to me and John.
Nor are we allowed to take it out of the package once it arrives.
No. So if, for example, if one of us ordered a case, you have to suck it up until then and hope the fit and finish isn't terrible.
Yeah, that's right. It's the real deal right there. No fibbing.
No fibbing.
I don't fib anyway, but you know what I'm saying. You know, legitimately that this is how it came.
Well, singing Toad's in the house as well. Hello, singing.
How you doing, Toad? Good to see you. But yeah,
so
that'll
live
be something
unboxing next week. Live unboxing.
So
it's my first time doing a live unboxing actually, so that'll be interesting.
Could be a complete casualty, or could
so
be...
I think I'm going to have to set up my other camera so I can switch between, because I don't want to unbox it like this. I think I would need to have the face down, but we'll see.
Well, I just thought I would reposition the camera temporarily, but yeah.
Oh, to like this.
That's right. Correct. Just reposition. Gets me every time. I'll open it for you. There you go. Frank says.
Yeah, Eric Starr says case roulette. That's what it is when you buy a case online.
Yeah, it's Russian roulette. I like playing that game though. It's kind of exciting.
Randy said he's keen to see it. Frank wants to open it for us. Nice try, Frank.
Well, Kathleen asks us a pretty legitimate question here.
Yes, I can get quite a few in the UK for. I mean, it's pushing it. Like I think between 60 and 80, there's a few. It's like mainly like medium Stockmans.
You can get sodbusters all day for under 80.
Oh, 100%. The smaller Butterbean, there is a couple of those. Barlow's, there's a couple.
Used. I mean, we didn't say they would be new.
It doesn't have to be brand new. It just knife.
It just has to be in a box that arrives at your doorstep.
Yeah.
That's kind of the drama for it, right? So what are we going to be talking about today?
I think we should just look at this comment first.
Peanut. Don't forget the peanut.
No, this one.
It's not as fun as real Russian roulette. Lost many friends along the way. Have you really, Elon? I'm not laughing at that because I don't know if you're serious or not.
Oh, speaking about
look at Randy.
You can find some for $1. Yeah, Randy, we can't find any for $1. I'm in the UK. They don't sell knives at antique stores, and John doesn't have any antique stores.
No, not near me. Oh, why does everybody have to kick you in the cherries? Talk about their deals. I don't need that in my
Chad
life.
Damron, I think that's a new guy we're seeing in here. Hello, Chad. Welcome to the jackassery.
What's going on, Chad?
Old Farts.
I hope
Knives,
everybody's doing fantastic today, by the way, because I know my year's been rough so far. So I hope everybody's has been better than mine.
I think we've been sort of tag teaming the shite start of the year, haven't we?
Yeah, it has been bad.
Big E's Knives. Hello, Big E.
Is Angelo? Is it me or is his nose big? What is this? Who are we speaking about here?
Oh, me from this.
Oh, yes. There we go.
It's not ginormous, bro, but it is pretty big.
Chad lives for the jackassery, so there you go. Thank you, Chad. All right, so yeah, not going to be our super long show today, I don't think, but we're going to talk about different tips and tricks for cleaning and things that we do for new knives, for older knives, and specifically for Victorinox knives. Just kind of some varied content for cleaning, and I want you guys to share your tips too, like what products you use, or like what do you do when you buy a new knife that you want to clean up, or do you even bother? Do you just like, I don't care, it's going to get dirty anyway, I just leave it the way it is? How much maintenance do you do on your knives, that sort of thing? So let's hear from you in the chat. But all right, you want to kick it off?
Sure, I'll bring it up now. So first sort of slide we have. So this is mainly, we're just going to talk about the first, how we sort of clean new knives. I know a lot of them don't really need that much doing to them, but there's a couple of examples or, exceptions where they do. And one of those really was the Rough Rider Classic Cinnamon Bone Stag series. They were always real dirty on the inside, obviously from polishing compound and grease or whatever they used to manufacture them. But I know John had the same problem, but inside the pivot was just full of black gunk, wasn't it?
I had one that had enough compound that you could have polished the entire knife fall out of it. It was probably, I don't know, about the size of a half of a pea.
Yeah, just a lot.
Like, I flip it over and it just like drops out.
Yeah, it wasn't even like any persuasion needed. It just
well, I mean, it's kind of stuck to the bottom. So once I just sort of relieved it from the spring, it just fell right out. But yeah, it can be bad. And if that had gotten in the pivot, that would have been a lot of work.
Yeah, but then it starts to wear the pivot away, and then it's ruining the knife then.
Well, yeah, you don't want to leave it in there, that's for sure.
No. Apart from that as well, like some of the, it's not even just Rough Rider. This is just the example that we found when we were picking knives for our terrible knives. This particular Rough Rider shield, you can see all the compound that's like jammed in there.
Yeah, if you look at like the top left, just above the left side R, that part's clean. All the other parts are dirty.
Yeah. So it's nothing major. For me, it's mainly just like flushing it out with some soapy water and just drying it off and re-oiling it, or maybe just getting like a very light toothbrush or a little brush and just cleaning out the shield and stuff like that. But that's pretty much I would all really do for like a new knife. A lot of manufacturers now, though, like the newer Rough Rider series, like the Appaloosa, I've not done it for. The Rosecraft blades always come super clean. Some of the other Rough Rider series come super clean. It's just this particular series, the Classic Cinnamon Bone Stag, was, I don't know where they were making them, just like in a muddy field or something. But they were always
particularly bad. Yeah, I mean, I've had other series that were bad too.
Yeah,
but this was particularly bad. It seemed like all of them.
Well, whatever series I had. Oh, when I bought what knife was it that I bought? It was it was actually a trapper, because I'm still working towards getting the whole Outdoorsman series. So this trapper, when I opened the main blade, it was like someone had just put lots of gravel in there. But that needed a lot of cleaning out. But now it's smooth now. You would never notice. But it was particularly like gravelly in there. Frank, that's literally what I use. We don't have Dawn here, but the same sort of thing.
What do you have?
I have Fairy.
Yes.
Let me tell you about Fairy. But I mean, as far as trappers go, this one's quite nice. I do like the bone on this one.
No, can't argue with you.
But yeah, that series was particularly gritty.
Now, can we go back to this? Because Toad says this, and I'm 100% with him on this. So you talk about people always getting better deals everywhere else. I feel you, bro. It's the same bag of suck for me here in Canada.
It was worse for you because you've got to brave the snow.
A bag of suck. I like that. Yeah, I mean, I'm probably just not one to go out and want to travel everywhere to find it, because I figured by the time I spend all the gas to go where I'd have to go and search and everything, I would have spent just as much if I'd have just gotten it off of eBay or something, right? By the time you're done. So I wonder, kind of with these people that tell you what a great deal they got. It's like, okay, well, how much time and travel did you spend before you found it? But maybe they didn't take any time. I don't know. The one phrase I hate most is whenever I buy a new knife, there's always some turd that will say, you paid too much for that, or you could have got that for less on black website. Yeah, well, yeah, I got you. It does get to be a kick in the pants after a while. Anyway, I didn't want to interrupt you, but yes, the old soap trick. And I just one little tip that's pretty obvious, but like I like to go to the dollar store for cleaning supplies. They have soap really cheap. They have toothbrushes really cheap. You can get like a 3-pack of toothbrushes. Cost you next to nothing.
Especially as they're just going to be used to clean dirt anyway.
Yeah, and you're not going to use them on your teeth, just for scrubbing
on your tufts,
on your toothpicks and your Barlows. But yeah, just like if you ever want to just get cleaning supplies in general, the best place for it is like dollar store. They got bleach, they got soaps, they got all that kind of cleaning household items that you would love. Durex lubricant works best for pivots, in my opinion. Really? I've never tried that.
If anyone would know, he would know.
Yeah. We'll leave it to you to be the expert on Durex.
Anyway.
I don't have much use for that anymore, but thank you.
I don't have any use for it at all.
Let
me tell you about single.
Never tell what you paid, Frank says. Yeah.
It doesn't bother me. If someone asks me how much I pay, I'll tell them. I've never been that really bothered by saying how much I paid for something.
Yeah.
If I overpaid, I overpaid.
Don't throw it in somebody's face is what I'm getting at. Like, I got this for $12. Okay.
Well, here's a question. Hi, Richard. Celluloid covers by someone that knows what they're doing, I would say yes. By us? No.
Nah, not by us. Well, the trouble's trying to find the replacement, right?
Yeah. You can definitely you could probably send them off to like a proper knife maker who could replace them with something, maybe even a different material.
Removing them can't be hard, because I've seen people just, they kind of bend the tabs out and they just pull it off on one side and leave the other tab. Don't bend the second tab.
Yeah,
just one tab that you can slide. And just slide it down like that.
But even the ones that are like adhesived on, you can just pop those off easily. But then you have to find something to replace and then get them into adhesive properly and flat, and it's a bit of a pain.
Yeah, lining them back up, and they got a little groove that they actually rest the tab in, so the alignment shouldn't be too hard, but just getting them kind of firm to the cover. Yeah.
And especially the older age, you gotta be real careful with them tabs. You don't know if anyone else has taken them off before you, because it's only a thin bit of metal. It will weaken and snap eventually.
Yeah.
Just bend it as the least amount you can and very slowly.
Yeah. All right. Next slide. What you got?
So this is for like major rust. You want to take this one, John?
Right. Yeah. Because I got the actual Vaporust the other day, and so you can see what I would use. Now you can buy that bucket you see on your screen. That's like $100. You can get this for like $15, $20. So just stick with this. You're not going to need more than that for a
I
knife.
think the bucket is mainly for like bigger parts, isn't it?
Yeah, for like tools and big stuff, right? So yeah, you don't need that. Just get you a colander or something, you know, or just a small container and put just enough in it to, you know, lift the level of the
Is the
liquid above the knife.
Evaporust corrosive to hands? Is there any warnings?
No, it's very, very safe. Let me read this to you. It says no scrubbing, reusable, easy soak, removes rust to bare metal, can be used on tools, hardware, equipment, auto parts, household, and it's supposed to be relatively safe.
Richard, if I were you, I would keep them as they are. If they're your grandfather's knives, I wouldn't mess with them. I would leave them. I've got a couple of my grandfathers that they look awful, but because they're his, I couldn't face destroying them, so I've just left them.
Yeah, that sentimental thing kind of gets in the way of that.
Yeah.
But yeah, this is like for a knife that you see here, the USS Wasp. I don't know where we found this boat, but something that looks like that, you probably want to just throw it in the bucket, leave it for 12 hours, bring it back out.
Eric Starr says he uses white vinegar. He said it's a lot slower, but it's also cheaper, get equalish results.
Okay. Well, we kind of saw this on an earlier video that we made talking about Evaporust, and I was pretty impressed with the results that the guy in the video got. So I definitely kind of
that video we did the sort of the review on was excellent.
Yeah, was it Mag
Imperial,
something guy?
Magdad 357 or something.
There you go.
357 Magdad.
Yeah, he restored an old
Imperial camp knife, wasn't it?
Camp knife.
But that thing was just rust with plastic covers on it.
He did a really good job on it.
Yeah, Randy's got a good point here. Evaporust is reusable.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
It's not done once you've used it. You can just keep going and going and going.
So while there's a little bit of upfront cost, you can just keep on using it. Just strain it, right, so that you get all the bits out. And so I'm going to be trying that out.
Well, probably actually, that Evaporust is on Amazon UK. I've checked. You can buy it. You can get it here. It's not as cheap as it is in the US.
It's really not that. I mean, it's not that harmful of a chemical. I don't know. I remember reading that it's really not that bad in terms of like the chemical part of it.
Oh, Stan said he watched that video. He did a great job. Yeah, he did a fantastic job, Stan. It was really good.
So I don't know that it's 100% like environmental safe, but safer than a lot of chemicals. I know that. Have you ever tried to use that pink stuff that you like almost have to paint on?
Yes.
That doesn't
work
very well.
Tell you what I think about it.
Yeah, it doesn't work very well, and I don't like that. It's very, very chemically.
It's like trying to. The best way I can think about it is if someone got treacle and filled it with sand. That's what it's like to use. I didn't like it at all. And then once you wash it off, it's not really done anything.
Yeah. So I don't know how much scrubbing's required for this, but you know, if you try to clean it up a little before you start, it's always going to be a little bit better of a way to do it because
but even if you go straight to soaking that, I guarantee you probably just brush most of that off afterwards.
Yeah. So yep, vinegar and alcohol work.
Stay tuned, Kathleen. We'll get on to that very soon.
There's some other stuff that the community's been using.
Flitz, KPL, zero grade wool. Yep.
Yeah, zero grade wool. The only thing about the steel wool that I don't like is it can kind of get into your pivots, you know, the little strands and so forth, the debris. So I would caution about using that. You got to be very careful not to let it get into the like areas that you wouldn't be able to remove it. Maybe like between the springs or inside the pivots or something like that. But yeah, it does work effectively. All right, so what else we got? Evaporust. Pretty basic stuff.
So this is onto the things you use. This is your sort of cleaning.
Yeah, this is kind of my go-to for the most like typical type of knife you're going to get on eBay. That's a little mildly rusted, but not like super bad like the last. Yeah, WD-40 as well. Now I've just found the Ballistol works a little better. I think it's a little more penetrative than WD-40. It is a little bit expensive, but you don't need a lot of it. So you
but I've watched how much you use in your restoration videos, and it's just like that's pretty much it, just enough to get in there.
Just it spreads really well. And the thing I like about the toothpicks, actually did I have one? I don't have one to show you, but I just kind of whittle them
into a point, doesn't it?
Into like not a point, but just sort of like a blunter edge.
Wedge, yeah.
And then I use it as a scraping tool because I've seen some people use like small mini screwdrivers, things like that. I don't want anything that it's going to scratch. So just something like made from wood. And then for smaller areas, I use toothpicks. You can get them in little containers like this. Right.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan of using the metal stuff on scraping off the blade either. I mean, it's already destroyed enough by rust and dirt. I don't want to add scratches to it as well. Yeah,
but you can get what they call a lot of times the popsicle sticks is craft sticks. So you might just do a search on Amazon for craft sticks. The same thing.
Yeah, some of the ones I've used as well. I've used the edge, but I've made it into like a bit of a pry bar sort of end.
Mm-hmm.
So it's got like angled, so you can sort of scrape with it, but it's not so destructive.
So there's yours ballistol. And another little tip to make this go even further. After you sprayed, a lot of times like it'll drain down into this little ridge and collect in there. I'll just get like a toothpick and reuse that. It doesn't go to waste. Right? It'll dry up a little bit, kind of gel a little bit, but it'll still work really well for lubricating. So just get you, a little something to clean it every once in a while.
You're just saying to make sure you wipe the rim is what you're saying.
I clean the rim.
Good job.
You got to be thrifty, right?
Let me
and of course, your mineral oil. I have this nearby all the time. Pretty much the same thing you're seeing on the screen. And this works good for soaking as well. But I find it more for like spot removal of rust.
Yeah.
Like a larger spot I'll use on that rather than having to waste a bunch of ballistol on that. But mainly I just like to soak the knife and ballistol, put it on top of a rag, just let it sit for like 2 or 3 hours, then come back on it, clean it up. It gets 90% of what I need off of there. For just, like your typical eBay knife that you need to clean up. So.
But it works really well. I've got a little bit of mineral oil I use. Sometimes soak the older stuff in it if it's particularly gummed up.
Yeah, and the mineral oil, the nice thing about that is it's food safe, so you can put it on any knife that you're going to use for cutting cheese or whatever you want to use. What's Angelo got to say here? So what do we got? We got a bunch of comments coming in. So let's go back. Let's read some comments. Once we just go start back here, we've missed a bunch of stuff.
Go on.
So where do you want to start here? All right, I'm going to start here, just a random spot. As long as I feel I've paid a fair price, then I don't really care if someone gets a better deal. That's true.
It all depends what the knife's worth to you. If what I might see as an $80 knife, John might think it's only $40. But
when it really hurts is when you bought you paid full price for a knife, then somebody comes and says, "Oh, I got that for 4% of what you paid." That's when it hurts. That's when it hurts. Let's see what else we got here.
Gary pretty much is the same as how I feel about it.
What else we got? Oh, I'm sorry. You had that up. Who cares what you paid? If you really want the knife, just buy the damn. Well, that's true too. It's just, you'd like to get more for your money. That's all. What else we got?
Randy says the Vaporus is safe on eyes too, apparently, but I wouldn't know
what
to try.
I don't know. I don't want to find out.
John, pour some in your eyes. Let's have a look.
Nah. Yeah, yes, it has the cool racky thing. I'm not paying $100 for it. That's a lot of, you wouldn't need that much. Eric says he uses white vinegar. Slower than, okay, we read that already. But yeah, that's very effective.
I found this one.
Yes, 100%. Appreciate that, Chad. We stopped by our pawn shop yesterday to look. The knives, out of about 20, they had 2 worth buying. The rest were trash and had what they looked like food or whatever on them. Yeah. But sometimes that's a good thing, Angelo, because if they're dirty or whatever, and you can get it off, but other people are like, I ain't got the time.
Yeah.
Maybe you get a little bit of a discount on it or something.
I have got an example of that where I got certain knives I got cheap. I don't know if I think I might have cleaned it up already.
Maxer says it works on rusty fuel tanks. I think we're talking about Evaporust.
Yeah.
Yeah, it says environmentally friendly. So, yeah, it's not bad. It's magic stuff.
So I have actually have one I'm mid-clean
Old
up
Farts
here
pours
as well.
it. Hold on a sec. Pours it back through a clean cloth. Very long lasting. So you can use it a lot. Go ahead. What would you say?
So this is an Ulster camp knife that Randy sent me that I'm actually mid-restoration. So you can see how I've got the blade was basically brown with rust, and I'm slowly getting there.
And what have you been doing with it?
That's just from like WD-40 oil, a little bit of really light wire wool.
Okay.
But I don't want to take off the patina, which is what I've tried to keep. So you can see it's still on there.
So you've used the wire wool. Have you experienced that too? That's potential that could get in the pivot and be a problem.
Yeah, but I've been sort of not going near the pivot with it. I've had it sort of taped up to about here, and I've just been just covering it up to the tang. I've just been using it up like this.
All right. So
but one of the problems I am having with it though is the can opener will not come out if the main blade's closed because it's you can see the rust is still coming out. See it?
Right. Yeah.
But that's still in process. So hopefully I get that fixed up. But the snap on it's really nice. But that's what I'm in the process of. I did get in the process. Let me tell you about process. But one of the ones I did get on the cheaper because it was in a mess was this Boy Scouts knife, Camillus one.
Mm-hmm.
This blade was real nasty and rusty, and I've managed to get it back to about this. A couple of little rust spots on it, but you can still just about see the official knife text on there underneath the rub on there, kind of there.
Yeah, I can see it.
But that's a Camillus New York. It just says USA underneath it. But
is it a Cubby Scout or Boy Scout?
It's a Cub Scout. It's got the wolf.
Yeah, it's blue. All right.
But that came up really nice. Like the action on it is great.
I wish I had that when I was a Cub Scout. No, I had the stupid Girl Scout knife.
Girl Scout, but
here you go. Cut Master. Okay, so what other comments did you see here? Yeah, that's true too. Angela says sometimes they're just best left the way they are. That's true.
Yeah, that's what I've done from the I'd say knives I had from my grandfather. So I got a couple of bayonets I inherited from him, and I refuse to sort of clean them up. So this is in the scabbard still, and the blade's not the best, but it's not horrendous. But I don't want to touch it because of the history that's on it.
Yeah,
I want to just sort of leave it as it is.
All the blood stains.
There it is. It's got that blood teeners on it.
I don't know the protein stains.
Kind of see it at the end. Look, let me tell you about blood teeners.
Okay.
But it is an older one. It is 1871. I doubt you're going to see that.
I don't have anything near that old, so I would
kind of. It says it here.
Yeah.
There. Can you see it?
It's kind of
1871.
There's something there. I couldn't say it was numbers.
There's someone's name signed, and then it says 1871 on it. So yeah, that's not getting touched. That's being left.
A Toad says there's a difference between restoration and preservation. You have to know which one to do when dealing with antique knives, for sure.
Yeah, 100%.
What else we have here? That's surprising what state it's in. You don't have the mind sharing. I understand you don't. What state is what in? I guess he was asking somebody else's question. All right. What else do you have?
Just looking down, making sure I've not.
Haven't tried it yet, but heard that soaking in molasses for several days works well. Boy, I wouldn't want to try that. Just because if it dried hard, boy, that would just be a mess trying to get the pivot clean.
So Sean wants to know if you still got your Cub Scout shirt.
I do, every day.
Does it fit?
No, but that's the fun of it.
Just trying it on, just like jammed in it in the corner.
I just get it over my head, and then the rest just sits there like a scarf.
Doug said he never did get his Cub Scout knife. That's why he's addicted to old Scout knives.
Yeah. I see he was deprived as a child, right? And then you have to make up for it. What we got here?
So
okay, here's
Elam,
about leather.
This
dude says I've been using Ken's Last Chance Knives leather conditioner to treat my old leather stuff. Yeah, so I've seen that like in a couple of videos. Like he has a little, I don't know, a little container of it. Works really well, so that's pretty cool. They made it themselves, I believe. I have all those in my cleaning kit. The mineral oil is great if you need a laxative. Also, I've used it for that. Don't want to talk much more about that than that, but that's 100% true. Does work. But yeah, that just proves just food safe. You can drink it.
Yeah.
I use bits of scrap leather too. Yep. All right. That's exactly what I use. Ballistol and mineral oil. Right on. All right. So we're on the same path there, Toad.
We got Gons here as well. Welcome. B Shady's here too. How are you doing both?
So we're going to get that. You know what? Look at what Wilson uses here. GT85 prune juice. That's for the laxative, not for cleaning your knives.
Will knows what it's out. Let me tell you about GT85.
Right. We're getting to that. And Randy's doing some self-promotion. There you go. There's where he's at. Good job, Randy. Cocktail sticks. Get the oil into the pivots. Yeah. Same idea as the toothpicks and the popsicle sticks. I only have one fixed blade that's badly pitted from rust. I found it laying embedded in the ground, and I'd see as I would mow. Then one day my mind clicked, hey, that's a knife. Yeah, pick it up, Angelo.
Good find.
How many times did you go over it with a lawnmower?
No wonder it's real blunt.
It's not the way you sharpen a knife, promise.
I don't know. Have you tried it?
No, but I imagine as dull as my lawnmower blade is, I need to bring that thing in and sharpen it. Just too busy to do all that kind of thing. All right.
Should we move on and see what we got?
I think we should keep on going.
Okay, so this is more what John uses. This is more like towards like the middle of the restoration, I guess.
Yeah, I've got all this stuff nearby. Keep it handy. Like I can just show you. Grab it, boom. But these things are fantastic. I love these things. They're very thin, so you can get them into the pivots and clean the pivots with them. And then for really small pivots, I got these smaller conical shaped ones.
Yeah, I've got similar things. They are really good for that.
And then you can actually use like the other end as sort of a little toothpick type thing. So it's got double purpose. And then I've got the more conical shaped Q-tips that I use. You can see how they're not like a standard Q-tip. They're more pointed, and those work really well for cleaning the interior of the knives as well. But my main go-tos for polish are the Haggerty for 100. That's for the like more.
Angelo's just replied. He said he mowed over it for about 2 summers.
There you go. It was in fantastic condition afterward. And then I don't know what I've done with my flits. Oh, here it is. It's nearly worn its label off. But there you have that. So those are my recommendations. You can get case paste. I'm sure it works fine. I just never bought any, so I couldn't tell you about that. But
I've never used case paste either. I use something different, but it works for me, so that's why I go for it.
Right. So you want to see my latest cleanup?
Go on. I'll bring you up.
What's this?
What do you? I know what it is. I can't remember the model number, but I know what it is.
That'll give you a clue.
For some reason I want to say 389, but I know it's not that.
It's the 319.
319.
The Rancher. So yeah, I'll be doing a review of that. But I've just been cleaning this one up, and it works really good now. It was pretty meh when I first got it.
It wasn't in bad shape though. It was pretty good.
The pivots were not where they needed to be, so their action has improved greatly. You can see the shield's worn quite a bit, and not a lot left there. You can still see that.
It's been carried and used though. If the shield's worn down, it's been used.
Oh yeah, 100%.
You can see that the Velox that's what they use, isn't it? It's like smoothed out quite nicely.
Yeah. Some of the saw cut is gone. You can just barely make it out in some spots. So this one's been loved, but it was well maintained. You can see they didn't really do a whole lot of damage to the blades. So yeah, really liking the old Rancher, and I'll be doing a review of that one eventually. But that one was cleaned up really nicely with this kind of technique right here.
Yeah. Eric Starr says he uses brass over polish. I have used that, Eric. I don't have any left, which is why I don't use it anymore. But I have something else.
My thing with that is Brasso. I can't stand the smell of it.
Oh, it smells so bad.
I'm not a fan of the way the Haggerty smells either.
And then when it's on your hands, you have to wash them like 15 times to get it to go away.
Yeah, it's not a pleasant scent.
Oh, Frank says he's got an old Colonial he's trying to clean up.
Okay. Yeah, those are kind of fun because even if you mess up on a Colonial, usually not a big deal, right? Depends, I guess, on what it is. I guess it'd be more of an Imperial. Sometimes they have they're pretty basic. So that's a good knife to kind of learn what you can and can't get away with.
That's why I started doing my restorations on like cheaper Victorinox that were already ruined, just so I could just get into doing it.
Right. Okay, so everybody can crack their jokes now.
Let me tell you about Super Lube.
There it is, boys. Now, what's great about Super Lube is if you have like a gritty pivot, it does a really good job of like getting hold of the grit and moving it out. So it's not like what I use to just, as my final lubrication. It's just sort of a preliminary step to getting out the grit and grime. It just does a really good job of removing stuff from the pivot. And then 2 oils that I like here for knives where I feel like I need a really thin oil, I use the Singer. And for, I'd say 80%, 85% of my knives, just use a good old original KPL. It has a really pleasant scent to it. So for that reason, and the fact that it seems to work pretty well and last quite a bit long time for the knives that I use. So there you go. There's my, I think most of that stuff is what I would use nearly every time for most of the knives that I do get in hand. How you doing? 1 minute knife review. Hello. What you got next? Okay, so these are some more of like a specialty style thing. Howard's Feed and Wax. Now you could use a lot of different things, linseed oil, whatever, but this is kind of just in my go-to because I've had it on hand for a long time.
Yeah, you just did the Joker knife for that as well, didn't you?
Yeah, I did.
It looks real good.
Used it on the olive wood, but yeah, I cleaned like a bunch of my cupboards with this. So then I just had it in hand and I was like, you know what, let's try it on this. And I've been happy with the results. So what this has is, it says it's a blend of beeswax, carnauba,
and orange oil.
And orange oil, which it says there, orange oil. So yeah, it works really well for that. For leather, like on, like a stacked leather handle. I didn't show this in the photos, but I just get, some basic mink oil for that. And then there's a lot of different products for leather too that people are going to prefer over this, but whatever you would use, just make sure you're conditioning it. And again, back to the mineral oil, use that for cleaning too. You can put those on, like, again, if you're going to be putting it on a knife you're going to be using for food prep, it's food safe, so you don't have to worry about any chemicals or anything getting in your food.
Yeah, especially when it's food safe, it's great as well. Give me one sec, John. I'm going to turn the light on, but I'm looking a bit vampire-y. Hang on.
All right. But yeah, I use the mineral oil for horn, bone, Delrin handles even, because if you have like a really older knife, like say, like an older case knife with like a jig Delrin handle or something like that, you can still use the mineral oil and it will actually absorb into there. Old timers, their old saw cut Delrin, you can a lot of times bring the color back. They'll fade into like a whitish color, and you can bring the color back if you use that. So even like the plastics will absorb some of the mineral oil and preserve it, and it prevents shrinking and cracking. So if you have that on there, especially horn, I've noticed that with horn, you really need to kind of use.
That shrinks quite bad over time.
Yeah, you need to keep that nice and moisturized. What else we got?
All right. So this is on to sort of the stuff that I really use. It's pretty similar, to be honest, just a different product made by someone else. Similar, like I would soak the knife really, depending on what it is. In this soap, which is Fairy, what I use here, mainly because it's really good at degreasing, and it's not like a harmful soap either. It's just normal dish soap really, but with a really good degreaser in it. Along with that, I would use the GT85 sort of penetration spray, pretty much the same as the Ballistol. It works pretty much in the same way. I know Will says he uses it. I prefer it to WD-40. I can't really explain why. I just think it does a bit of a better job. And then I actually have these cloth-ended toothpicks, which are really good because you can scrape with them, but they also collect what they scrape off because they've got a little bit of cloth on the end. Kind of hard to see in the picture, but they've got the little white tips. They're really good. That's what I would mainly use for like stubborn stains on the inside.
So you want to take that question?
Is there a way to know if it's real bone to Delrin handle?
Just comes down to experience for me. You just kind of know. You see
the older style Delrin, like I have. Let's see if I can find it. I can show you an example. Which one of the million drawers is in? This one. So I have an old 44 Stockman. It's from 1971. So it's jigged. It looks like it might be bone, but this is actually Delrin. And it's really hard to tell. When they get older, they get quite brittle. Or when you tap it, it sounds like it could be bone. But I generally just give it a bit of a tap, and you can generally tell by tapping what it is. So this has got not hollow, but it sounds more plasticky than you would if you tapped a bone knife. It's not as dense. But that's what I tend to do. But that's an example. This is one I got from Shropshire last year that I cleaned up. But that's generally all I do to tell, is just give it a bit of a tap. Some people say you can sort of bite it and tell that way, but I don't particularly fancy doing that.
No, I don't either.
No, but that's what I do anyway. A lot of the old timer knives you can tell just by look, because obviously they're saw cut and their characteristic look is that sort of color fade. But the older sort of case knives and things like that, where they use Delrin over bone, it is really difficult to tell. What else have we got, John? Do you want to go on the next one?
Yeah, I'll find something more. Yeah, keep going.
Okay, so and this is sort of mid to end of cleaning for me. So it's
we have this from Gas.
Similar stuff. Go on, what do you got?
Heat a pin red hot and touch in an inconspicuous place to test for bone.
Yeah, good idea.
I mean, you can do that.
So yeah, the metal polish is the same as the Flitz. Really, it's just what I use is the Autosol. I haven't got the packaging out because it's used so much. It's just a silver rolled up bit of foil now with a cap on it.
You wouldn't know if it was toothpaste.
Yeah, it's just like a real used toothpaste is what it looks like. And then cutting compound is a bit more abrasive if there's a stubborn sort of stain, or if I want to take the patina off a knife, basically I would use that G3 compound that works so well for that. It's abrasive, but not to the point where it's going to be leaving sort of minor scratches. It does give you a real nice finish. Lubrication for me, I don't actually use KPL. I either use this 3-in-1 or the Victorinox multi-tool oil. I think it kind of sounds weird, but the sentimental for the 3-in-1, because I remember my grandfather using that a lot when I was younger for his stuff. And the smell of it, it's like lemony. It's a weird smell. but it does sort of like take you back in time. I know people get that with different smells and things like that, but I use that. It works great. Just a little drop in the pivot and it lasts for ages. It doesn't dry out very quickly either. And the Victorinox multi-tool oil is quite thick, so it only takes a little drop, but it works. I really like it to use in my Victorinox knives. I think it works great for that as well.
I'm going to take this comment too.
Go on.
Well, it's just a great comment because the great thing about mineral oil is it's great for both knife cleaning and lubrication and leather products. It works well, but light use to keep inside of a leather sheaths, slips, keeps them moist versus wax products. That's true. So it's a universally good product for knives. So definitely want to have that in your tool chest.
Another one for you, John.
Do you guys use Dremels at all when cleaning up really old knives? I prefer to use hand tech, as much as I can, but I will use them if it's like a really stubborn or very large project.
Yeah. Something like if I was going to clean up the bayonet, I wouldn't really want to do that whole thing by hand. I would use something that would be a bit quicker. But I don't really like using the electric tools. I find it really relaxing just doing it by hand. So I do everything by hand.
I'm exactly the same way. But I will use them. And like there's certain things that when we get into the Victorinox stuff that you can't get away with not using a buffer really to do it right. So, but we'll get to that later. Here's a nice little trick for just like a initial removal of a bunch of dirt. I like to kind of loosen up the debris, throw it in one of these, what do they call them? Help me with the word here. What is this thing? I forgot what it's called.
Ultrasonic cleaner.
Ultrasonic cleaner. Thank you. But these are really good for Victorinox knives. We're kind of getting more into that now. We're talking about Victorinox cleaning. But if you've ever disassembled like the covers on a Victorinox, you'll find that while they're easy to replace, if you remove them, sometimes they never are quite the same going back on.
They never fit perfectly. Sometimes one of the little clips bends a bit or snaps a bit off, and then it just doesn't quite sit tight and it kind of moves a bit. And that's probably my biggest pet peeve when that happens, because it makes me immediately not want to use it because I know it's there.
There's like a plastic little rings that are recessed into the handle.
I actually have a set of scales that aren't being used. If you want to, I can show.
Yeah, I'll show you exactly what I mean. We can bring that up. Right. But once you remove them, they're never quite the same.
So
going back on.
Okay, here's a good example. So this is the inside, and these little circles sit on the pivots of the knife, and you can see this one here kind of make out that it's snapped on this side.
Yeah, like portions of it will come off.
Yeah.
I mean, and it's really easy to mess up.
So this one came off really nicely. You can see it's perfectly round, but this one damaged a bit. So now when it fits on the knife, it doesn't quite sit flat. So it doesn't rock loads, but it's enough that I can see light through it, and it kind of rattles a bit.
Yeah, it's kind of annoying. The fit is not the same. So this is what's nice about, this having that ultrasonic cleaner, because you can kind of get that dirt out from beneath the scales without having to take the covers off.
Especially with like the classic SDs and stuff, because they have a straight through hole where the springs are anyway.
Exactly.
So you don't even need to take them off of those.
And those are like a lot of what I clean, right? It's the SDs. Yeah. So it's very easy for like lint and everything to collect inside the scales, and it'll never come out with just you trying to dig it out, So this will flush it out a little bit. It's basically just like a massive vibration that brings it, brings the stuff to the surface.
Just like agitates the dirt off pretty much.
Right. Yeah. And it's really useful for that. But if you're really getting hardcore into the Victorinox thing and you want to, get some used ones and make them look pretty much brand new, you're looking at a project that'll probably be 2-3 hours to do it right. And you can start with like covers of the modern style that will have the inlay. Things like this one you see on the screen, the Vinger, you have to watch out for the shield. You have to be very careful not to.
That will 100% rub off. Like I've got an example of one I've restored here. The shield is slightly rubbed off. It's not any worse than it was when I got it, because I kind of left the scales alone, but you can see it does rub off, as opposed to the Victorinox, which is inlaid. So there's another example here where it looks like full.
The inlaid one.
And the inlaid one.
So yeah, the inlaid one, you can be a lot more aggressive with the scales. The other ones you cannot. You have to be extremely careful.
Yeah.
And so in fact, I just got to the point where I don't even do anything with them, because even if you do clean them up, then you've got like this area where you've taped off the shield, and it's obvious that, you know, you got this little area that's still scuffed up, and then the rest of the knife is smooth, and it just looks weird. So I don't know. I kind of just leave the fingers alone pretty much. But
I will do my best to sort of clean round them. Like I'll get one of them little toothpicks and like edge round it, and then, you know, I can use the rest of the knife either side. So I just clean round and then sort of, you know, clean the rest as normal. But it's kind of a bit of a shame when I don't mind it when it's worn off like that. That's fine. That's from use. When you just rubbed it off yourself, not doing anything apart from cleaning it, I don't like that.
Yeah. So, but yeah, I'm talking about like 2-3 hours to kind of do these right, if you really want to do them right. And you've got to start gradual, like 800, you know, and then I work my way up and get out. Basically, you just do it like you would a wood project, where you're getting out all the major dents, scratches with the larger grit, and then the finer grit, you know, getting it to a final smooth touch. But I found that if I don't use a buffer for this,
it takes ages.
It's a massive project. But I just feel like the buffer is really where the magic starts to happen with these. Once you
but then you got to be careful with the buffer, haven't you? You don't want to burn.
You do have to be careful with it, because if we go to our next slide, we can see the buffer. You have to be careful not to get any one spot too hot, because Celador scales will melt if you get it too hot.
It's just ABS plastic, so it will just disintegrate.
Yeah, and it's really just a matter of like doing it a few times to kind of know what you can and can't get away with, and just learning your tools and your technique. So start with something that you don't mind ruining, and then just kind of work your way to the good stuff. But Gary says he uses polishing sticks, 400 grit to 7,000 grit. There you go. Those are nice. I just haven't invested that, just using the paper. Wet sand also. I forgot to mention that. I always wet sand. I don't dry sand. I wet sand with the Celador scales. It's basically like auto body work, 100%. It's like if you've ever worked on auto body stuff, it's the exact same thing. You just got to start, you know, getting the deeper scratches out and work your way out. 7,000 grit even. So you can go even higher if you want. I think 3,000 is probably adequate for the Celador stuff.
Yeah, 7,000, you'd be getting a mirror finish on it.
Lobster. There we go. Yes, please. Yeah, he's not touching it, Will. He's not going to mess with it.
I'm not messing with that. They're staying as it is.
All right. Hit the like button, guys, if you haven't already. All right, so what we got next? Okay, so yeah, we talked about that, but yeah, you just have to master your technique not to get any hot spots. Just keep the project moving, you know, all the time. Don't leave it in one area. Always move it. Know what speed you can use. Like hopefully you can have an adjustable speed buffer, variable speed. Because if you had one that only one speed and it's too fast, then it's useless to you. You can't use it.
Yeah,
you got to go to something else.
From past mistakes as well. If you have it on too fast, it will just take it out of your hand and yeet it across the room.
Well, it will do that as well. So you got to be very careful how you hold it. A lot of times, I actually bring the blade out to hold the blade, right? And you got to be careful not to cut yourself as you're doing it. So there's a whole process. All right, what do we got next? Is that the last slide? Wow. Okay. Didn't know that was the last one. But any other products you like to use? Any other techniques that we didn't talk about? We didn't really talk too much about the leather conditioning either.
The leather conditioning, for me, I just use mineral oil. Mm-hmm. It works great. I don't have the need to change anything else with it. The slip Randy made me, the blue slip, it's in the cupboard. I use that with the mineral oil. I left it soak in there for a little bit, and it's so supple now with just from the mineral oil. Everything I use, like I actually have a loaner knife here from Mikey, and I can tell he's conditioned the slip because it's, you can, it's just so soft,
supple. Yeah.
But when I say loaner knife from Mikey, I mean one knife he's not getting back.
Oh, the 55 is yours 55. Now.
Well, it's not. He's not in here, is he? So I can say he's not having it back.
Oh, okay.
But he's done a nice sharpening job on it as well. He's put a great edge on it. But this is one knife that, thanks, Mikey. I'm keeping it. But yeah, back to the leather. Like mineral oil is plenty for me. I don't feel the need that I need to change it up or do anything else to it. It works great. And if it's not broke, don't fix it.
Yeah, Nickwax leather cream. I don't think I've heard of that, but
no, I've not heard of that either.
There's so many good products out there. I mean, these are just suggestions, right? I mean, there's loads of other things you could use. This is kind of like our go-tos, but I mean, if you don't have mineral oil or some sort of leather conditioner or some sort of lubrication, find what works for you, and there's going to be different stuff between UK and the US. So
yeah, it's less Sean's to do with auto sol. That's exactly what I use, Sean. It's great.
Exactly. I mean, I've seen him use it in his projects, so it works.
Yeah. But, so I actually used it on. So this is a Wenger. I think it's an Alpine backpacker. I think. Could be wrong. Could be the Traveler. Honestly, don't remember. But this is one I fully restored. The blade was snapped. I actually replaced the blade with a different Wenger blade.
Well, look at you.
But yeah, this is one I fully restored. The blades, they weren't like rusty or anything, of course, because they're stainless steel, but they had a bit of dirt on them that I cleaned off with the auto sol, and they've got a nice shine to them now.
Yeah.
Also this is when they just released the pattern for their style cap lifter, so you can see there is text underneath. It does say patent, but it's probably not going to focus on that.
Yeah, patent. Yeah, it just kind of helps you.
And the patent is, I did actually show. I showed this one in my Super Sack Saturday with the lock-in.
With the way it pushes in. Yeah.
This does exactly the same. So I can kind of show you a bit better with this. I don't know if you can see it moving.
Kind of springing in there.
So it does spring in, and once it's in, it does not move at all. So that's obviously instead of the half stop, which Victorinox use. But I think that's a great feature to have.
Yeah, that's.
But yeah, I didn't do too much cleaning to it. You can see like the punch is not perfect, but I didn't want to do too much to it. I wanted it just to be usable. But I was pretty proud of myself changing the blade. I'm not gonna lie, because I thought it would be horrible to do. But I managed to save the pins, the original pins. So I just took a very thin layer off so I could push it through, and then I managed to peen it without having to reuse any different brass. I just used the same stuff. Put a nice edge on there.
Right.
But yeah.
Dean P says, be careful, Slippy, that 55 will make you not want the Victorinox anymore.
That's not possible.
That's a bold statement. It's bold. But yeah, the different products, not really important that they all be the same. I still feel like there's some polishes that work better than others. I think that's probably like my biggest. I've tried a lot of them, and some of them aren't created equal.
This is the best finish I think I've got with that auto sol on a Wenger.
Wow. Okay, there you go.
So it works really well. Bit of blade rub on that side, you can see, but you can see how clean the blade came up.
Yeah.
I mean,
I've used Blue Magic. I don't know if have you ever heard of Blue Magic?
I have not.
Okay, well, it's like a general purpose polish, and I don't find it to be as good as Flitz. So like there's examples where I can say, oh yeah, I definitely prefer one to the next. But WD-40 again works really well for soaks and things like that. But as a lubricant, I don't know if I'd want to just use that alone. It's really more for water displacement. That's what the WD stands for. So if you're just trying to preserve it from getting rusty, but as far as a lubrication, I don't know. I've seen what it can do to electronics if you use it, like on potentiometers, and long term it gets really gunky and gooey and nasty, and so
and like dust sort of real sticks to it, and just
it attracts dust, and it's not the best thing for that sort of thing. But I don't think it would matter much on a knife, but there's just some other reasons why I wouldn't want to use it. One last little tidbit coming from somebody with electronics background. If you ever want to get rid of corrosion, and whatever else you're using is not working, there's this thing called Deoxit D5. This is like magic juice for anybody that works on electronics. I wouldn't recommend this as a full-time go-to because it's very expensive. But in terms of like getting corrosion off of things, like light film of corrosion that you have struggles removing with anything that you don't want to scratch with. So let's say you've got, I don't know, something on a pivot, right? Where you've got a little bit of rust buildup. You would use this instead of something more abrasive. This can kind of save you from having to use something that it'll remove it, but without the abrasiveness of like steel wool or whatever that you might use. So that's just for a pinch. I wouldn't use that, like I say, very often, but in certain scenario, I think it's useful. But what else you got? Got any other projects you're working on?
The only one I was really sort of working on is that one I showed you earlier, the Ulster camp knife. I haven't got anything older I'm working on at the moment.
Mm-hmm.
I will show you a couple of older bits I did pick up though, as it's sort of along this subject. So these are some that Mikey Newman actually helped me find. I did pick up I think this is the Camillus Barlow. Yeah, so this is a Camillus USA Barlow. It doesn't need very much work. It's in very good shape. It does need a bit of cleaning out though. And I'm not sure what the handle materials are. I don't think they're Delrin. I think they're just some type of plastic. But it's in pretty good shape for what the age of it.
Mm-hmm. We've got some more questions here.
Go on.
Has ever seen what Coke will do to corrosion? I have, because I've cleaned my battery terminals on my car with it. I know exactly what that'll do.
It destroys it.
Not a question here from Watch City. He says, "Do you work on electronics?" I used to. I kind of retired from that, so I just got completely burnt out with it. I probably repaired thousands of different items. Just don't want to do it anymore.
Yeah, just had enough.
Yeah. So yeah, I used to. What else?
What do you think of this?
This
is a USA Remington Barlow.
Okay.
So this has got some sort of saw cut Velox. I think it's very similar to what Buck used, so I'm guessing it's very similar.
Right.
So USA made Remington. Again, it's never been used. It's the factory edge on it, and it's not been touched really.
Let's see the other side again.
Which side do you want to see?
See the blade with the nail neck side. Huh. Yeah, I just wonder. Maybe that was made by Camillus for Remington.
Yeah, because this.
Yeah, that would be my
guess. You can see where the Remington shield on there is sort of like pressed into the Velox.
All right.
But that's a really cool piece I picked up. And I also got something that I didn't even really know existed was a Remington doctor's knife. A bare head one as well.
All right, so another question here. So you have said how you work on with old or damaged sacks. Do you do anything for ongoing maintenance for good knives? Yeah, just keep them sharp, keep them oiled. That's pretty much it.
Kathleen, inside the box when you get a brand new sack knife, there's the little bit of paper actually says how to maintain the pivots and things, and that's honestly all I do. A little bit of hot soapy water. Let me grab a knife, maybe one that's not so razor sharp so I won't cut myself. So, and I would just open the main blade like this. And as you put it in the water and just do this.
Yeah, just work it back and forth.
Take it out, open it. I do that with every tool. And then I would just leave it open and then let it dry. And then all I do then is put the Victorinox oil in it. That's it for Victorinox. They're so simple to work with. That's why I love them. And then they're good to go as normal. Yeah, and it doesn't take a lot. I will
just
give
be careful with soapy hands that you don't cut yourself.
Yeah, definitely. I either get a microfiber cloth and wrap it around a few times and work it that way, or I put a bit of like tape or something around, just so I'm not touching the edge of the blade, because I don't want to do a Randy, basically. I will give you a tip when oiling the Victorinox knives. I feel like it works a lot better if you put the pivot sort of like just over 90 degrees, and then you can kind of see a gap up here between the spring and the back of the tang, and I put a dot on there and then work it like this, and that seems to work best for that. I don't know if that's just me, the placebo effect, but that's how I feel like it works best for me.
Right.
But that's exactly what I do.
Let's do a very similar thing. Yeah. What else we got? We got some more comments. Oh, is it the same as contact cleaner? No, it's actually better, Doug. It's kind of contact cleaner and a special formula for corrosion all in one. So it kind of stays put for a longer period. And I don't know how familiar you are with electronics, but anything like a slider, a fader, potentiometers, volume controls, base controls, anything with knobs, right? The old style from the 70s.
Anything with what?
Knobs.
Okay.
This thing over here, that thing.
All right. I was thinking
they would work great on you. What else? It says,
Tony, no, I did have nano oil for a while. I didn't get on with it. I didn't really like it. And the one I had a real gross smell, and that just really put me off.
I've not used nano oil.
I also think it's overpriced for what it is when you can get the similar thing for way cheaper. I tell you what I have. Sorry, John, just quickly, which I also, Retro Stew also purchased as well, is actually this Kershaw knife oil. It doesn't sort of say what weight it is, but I'm guessing it's about 10. But it does work quite well. It's not the best on carbon steel blades, I will say, because it tends to go yellow on them for some reason. But for like stainless steel, it's great.
Oh, and by the way, the KPL, the normal, the original formula, it says right on there it's 15 weight. So you can kind of gauge that based on other things. But that Singer oil is lighter weight. I don't know what weight it is, but it's definitely not 15 weight. It says, when are we getting the Thrifty and Slippy custom knife oil? Slippy when wet, Slippy lube. Yeah. I think he's already created that, but he's washed his draws since then. And so he kind of ruined the last batch.
This is what you are.
Knob jockey. No. I'm not a God, people. I just imagine him on a horse right now, right? The jockey, but not a horse, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
When are we okay, we read that. The reason I asked John is because I have a $100 flashlight stopped working, and it's been over a year since I purchased, so I can really return it. And I was going to try to find someone to fix it. Okay. Yeah, I don't know about flashlights necessarily, but I'm pretty basic, I'd imagine. Try some, some kind of contact cleaner with it, and if that doesn't do the trick, yeah, find somebody that can repair that. I bet somebody could do that for you pretty simply. It says thrifty when dry, slippy when wet. Can be a slogan. Man, I've seen so many military blades that have been cleaned. Yeah, 100%. I've seen that a lot. It's just kind of disheartening when you see it, especially on eBay. Seems like, oh, I've got to clean this up to sell it. No, you don't. Leave it alone.
No, sell it dirty. Let someone buy it and enjoy it.
Yeah, so it's pretty sure Remington put out a low price RFP every few years to whoever would make their knives. Okay. So, yeah, it could have been like Camillus or somebody like that.
Yeah.
There's the nano oil comment. Okay. Never had any problems with Victorinox. Man, they're so well made. You're like Tom, right? My favorite new maintenance technique is just to buy a new one. That's the Tom technique. Don't sharpen it. Just buy a new one. WD-40 takes out original lubricant. Yeah. It can work well for that.
Isn't it?
Yeah, it does. And then
Kathleen says, is Remy oil any good? I've never heard of that.
I've heard of it, but I've never used it on knives. I have heard of other people using it, so that'd be just something to experiment with, I imagine. But hope that took care of all the comments there. But we are about an hour and 14 in, so you want to do our giveaway now?
Yeah, why not? Why not?
All right.
You'll do the US first this time, I think.
Okay. Let me just pull up the wheel here.
Randy, do you want to put the US rules in for me, please?
Let me write my number down before we get too far ahead of ourselves.
Oh yeah, I better do the same thing, hadn't I? Do I have any scraps of paper?
Scraps of paper? You don't have any scraps of paper?
I have a scrap of paper.
What's wrong with your process? You got a failed process.
What is your range, John?
My range is 300 to 400, sir.
Okay, so as soon as Randy puts in a start, your range is 300 to 400. Nothing before the start.
All right. Anytime you're ready, Randy. No proxies for Randy, please. It's basically his way of saying, I know I'm so popular that I'll get too many and then it won't be fair. Marco and Watch City have guessed the same number. Fantastic.
And Doug.
Good luck, everybody. I'm so glad everybody knows how to do these now. We don't have to explain every little detail, right?
Right, I've picked my number 2.
No comment on that. Okay, just hold out on me over there.
What's going on?
I asked you a question.
Oh, I didn't hear it. Say it again.
I said, I'm so glad that we don't have to explain every little detail. No comment on that.
Yeah, no, it's much nicer. It just runs smooth. We can just do it. Done. Here's your stuff. Enjoy it.
All right, give it another 10 seconds, Randy, and throw up a stop. I'm pretty sure I know who won already, but I'll have to double check. Okay, so the number was 317.
Okay,
and so I know Eric Starr had like something really, really close.
Eric Starr had 318.
So if you can beat 318, let me know.
No, Eric Starr wins.
Eric Starr
318. Eric
is
Starr.
our winner. Congratulations, Eric. You've won 2 spins of the wheel. Let me start sharing that stupid screen. Let us lag all together. Is that in the center? No, that's a little bit off. How's that?
Yeah, that'll do.
Oh, wait. I'm going to get rid of my ads. 1 billion ads. All right. You should be able to see the whole thing now, right?
Yeah, we're good.
Okay, here we go. Spin number 1 for Eric Starr, the tape measure logo. And go. I hit the button.
Noise.
Oh. Holy smokies. Won a nice one there. It is the Rough Rider Coke bottle Black Appaloosa.
I will write that down for you. Let me find another scrap.
Number 38. Congratulations, Eric. And that is your first spin. We're doing 2 spins today. So here we go.
2 spins. Number 9.
The larger one. So you got 2 knives, buddy. Congratulations. Nice going.
Okay, Randy, do you want to chuck up the UK rules for me? And anyone that's in the UK, can you please put it in the box below just so people know they can proxy for you?
You want to throw up the email there so Eric can email me? I'm not 100% sure I have his email address. Yeah, you need to send your mailing address to me, Eric. I can't remember if you have already. You might have, but I just want to be sure. And just put in there, your mailing address. Send it.
Yeah, Randy's put it in there, which is great. But for the UK, please try and split the proxies out so you're not just doing 10 for one person. Try and make it a bit fair.
Right, 100%. And here's the email address. There we go.
Eric, just email it over just in case John can't find it.
Yeah.
So Elon says no votes for him.
Okay. Elon doesn't want to win a third time in like 4 weeks.
Okay, so who have we got for the UK? We've got Gaz.
Gaz, Sean, Tony.
Who else have we got? Elon. Lobster, can I be UK? I don't know. Do you live in the UK, Lobster?
Don't think he does. Who else in the UK?
I think we just have 4 in the UK this week.
Well, who's the 4th? Oh, Elon, but he doesn't want it.
We got Gaz, Sean, Tony, and MB.
Oh, MB. Is MB still in here? I haven't seen him for a bit.
Yeah, he's in here. He just commented above.
Okay, there he is. Yeah, where's Mikey? I don't know where Mikey is.
He's in here. I know he's watching, but I can tag him. So you have Mikey as well.
Yeah. Go ahead and add Mikey.
All right. So there's your 5. We got Gaz, Sean, Tony's Ponies, MBEDC, and Mikey Newman.
Oh, we got Smiley. Just popped in. Small bunch, yeah. That's all right. We very much appreciate you.
Okay. So the range for me is going to be 1 to 100. As soon as Randy chucks in a start, you can go.
Stop.
Yeah, as soon as he chucks in a stop, you can go. EDC is also UK, so make sure you can proxy for EDC.
Oh yeah,
as well.
EDC as well. Add EDC to the list. EDC got in here just in time. 1 through 100, guys. You already got your number. Oh yeah, you tucked it away.
1 to 100, Eric. Change it for a lower number.
69, of course. What else?
I'm not going to pick it twice. I've already picked it.
We're telling you it's not going to be 69 just because it's been 69. That's the one to avoid. 356.
Oh, come on, Will.
Oh, man.
Oh, proxy for Will. I also forgot Will. Sorry, Will.
Oh, Will.
Get some proxies in for Will. Get some proxies in for Will, people.
Proxies in for Will. Can I proxy for Will since no one else is gonna?
Yeah, you can. Do it.
I have no clue what your number is, so I can do it. Proxy for Will. I don't know. Let's try that.
All right, another 10 seconds and chuck a stop up.
Frank does 55. We got a whole block of numbers for Will.
Okay.
Byron.
Chuck a stop up there, please, sir. Excellent. So I'm pretty sure I know who the winner was, and you're not going to guess who proxied the person to win.
It wasn't me, hopefully.
No, it was the luckiest person on YouTube for winning giveaways.
Elon?
Nope.
Elon Proxy? Randy. 100. Who was it?
Randy proxied 99 for EDC.
Oh. Nice job, EDC. Good job, Randy. Leave it to you to make it 100. What a wank.
Okay, so I will get the pick a wheel up. Randy, if you want to put my email address in there so EDC can email me just so I can be sure I have it. I know I've sent him something before, but I'm terrible with addresses. It's probably just better if you send it to me again.
And by the way, I got Eric's address has been sent, so we're good, Eric. Cool. Thank you.
Okay. Can you see that? Okay.
Not yet. It's still loading. All right, now it's on the screen.
Okay. Are you ready?
Yes, we are already waiting. EDC has won.
Oh,
an Awanata. Nice.
Number 10, a blue Awanata.
From Rosecraft. Did they send it or did you buy it?
This is a Rosecraft gift.
Oh, excellent. For the wheel.
Okay.
Thank you, Rosecraft. And thank you, EDC.
That choice. Olight THX is very similar, Lobster, to the IR2. Very similar to this, just a little bit bigger with the same sort of charging port and stuff on it. Just a little bit bigger.
That. I like the way that they've done the metal on those. Those are awesome.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
Yeah, they're really cool. Okay, and spin number 2. Dun, 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 dun.
Oh, the black
study. Number 3.
Just did another review on this for the 4th time.
Yeah, we're all a big fan of this knife. It's great. Awesome stuff.
Great prizes. Yeah.
Congratulations to EDC.
Nice. Very cool.
And no trolls this week either. There was nothing on the trolley wheel.
No, nothing was hit. No coppers, no bleeding fingers, no super balls. Though that's not as trolly as the copper. Been stopped for having a 3-inch blade. All right. So as soon as we get that address in, we'll be good to go.
He's on EDC's on the Discord. I've just told him to DM me on there. It's probably easier.
Okay, we'll do that. DM me your address in Discord. There you go, EDC. But yeah, so hopefully you guys enjoyed the cleanup show, the restoration. Well, not necessarily a restoration, but cleanups and some tips maybe you guys can use for the future. Some products you can try out. That's kind of what we were hoping to accomplish today, and I think we did that.
Perfect, EDC. I can still see it in our chat. It's fine. I have your address. Thank you very much.
There we go. So congratulations to the winners today, and thank you to Rosecraft for donating that Awanata. And thank you guys for coming in. We really appreciate all the members that joined up today. Little bit longer show than I anticipated, but it was all great because everything went really smooth today.
Yeah, it's great when it's just like a chat really with some people.
Yeah, it's just relaxed. Yeah, just a relaxed chat.
Tim came in late. He's going to catch a replay. No worries, Tim.
Yeah, do that for sure. But the next week, what do we have? Can we say definitively you're going to be around? The best knife show. You're not wrong, Lobster. Thank you. Yeah, I think next week we're going to be around. So
yeah,
be around.
Definitely here. I'm not.
Okay.
think I'm fully off next weekend, so I'm not even working in the morning, so I'm free anyway.
Okay, so that's going to be the surprise box opening, our live unboxing. I'm not going to know what he's got, and he's not going to know what I have, so it'll be a complete surprise to everybody.
It could be one knife, it could be two, it could be three. Just depends how much they are all each. But
yeah,
we'll see.
We just basically set a limit of $80, so they could be as many as knives as it's up to $80, or could just be one knife. So, but good to have you in here, Tim. Thanks for coming. But that's pretty much going to do it for this week. I think you guys are really going to enjoy the remainder of this week's content. I got a lot of really good reviews coming up this week, better than normal this week. Really good stuff coming up. And you saw one of them. Going to review this guy, the Buck 319. So that's a pretty awesome knife. I really enjoy that one. You got anything you want to quickly give a flash of?
To be honest, the only thing I've got some more stuff coming. I've ordered a few bits, but I've got a
Remington you showed, right? So that's going to be one.
Yeah, I'm going to be doing a review on this soon at some point as well. The number 13. What's
the Cane Creek?
Cane Creek.
Jack. Yep.
I've got a load of older stuff I need to get through. Just honestly, I've got loads. I've got like an old Taylor's Japan Stockman I need to do that I've had for months and not done. That's actually bone on there.
Oh, that's awesome.
That's a really cool piece. All my older stuff. I actually have this one as well. An old Stockman that I got to review, and I got an old Coast Stockman, old Bokers, things. I've got so many little bits and pieces I've just been picking up, but because some of them I'm cleaning up before, I haven't got round to them yet. But right. Yeah, a lot of different stuff coming up. Obviously, there's going to be the Victorinox is going to be there because I've still got loads of those to do. I don't know how. I've just got a huge backlog of those. Tim, no, I didn't get the bullet knife. I'll show you quickly before we go. So I picked up some older style Remingtons. So there's an old Remington Barlow. And I also picked up a Remington Doctor's knife as well.
That's cool.
Bare end as well, which is, I don't normally like Doctor's knives, but since I got my hand on the Appaloosa series of the bare end, I really do like this.
Yeah. Okay. All right. But I think that's probably going to pretty much do it. Like I said, I've got some pretty strong stuff too. I don't want to kind of reveal everything, but that Buck 319, this has kind of been on the bucket list for a while. Oh, that's the wrong knife. Dummy.
Jackass.
Where did I put it? I just said it a month ago.
Is it over here?
But yeah, that Rancher, really loving that. Got some case knives too this week, so we're gonna be looking at some really cool stuff. But that's gonna do it for me. I am Thrifty. That over there, there is Slippy, and this has been the Slippy and Thrifty Show. Thank you for joining us. We'll see you next week. Take care.
See you guys.